These are the 10 best smart trainers as rated by our team of expert testers here at BikeRadar. A smart trainer is a training tool that offers variable resistance like a normal indoor trainer, but with the added benefit of allowing the resistance and other parameters to be controlled by cycling apps such as Zwift. For example, when riding a virtual course on a smart trainer, if you begin to climb a hill, the resistance ramps up and you have to pedal harder, just like when riding outdoors. When doing group rides or a race on Zwift, the resistance gets easier when you are riding in a group, simulating a draft. Modern bike computers can also drive the smart trainer, allowing you to set the resistance at a predetermined wattage or to simulate an existing course. These are the key reasons to use a smart trainer, to make indoor riding much more fun and more productive. The Saris M2 is a budget, sub £500 smart trainer and is an ideal introduction into the world of interactive training. The legs here fold out for when it's in use and fold flat against the mainframe for easy storage. At 9 kilograms, it's not overly heavy to carry around either. The M2 will work with all usually commonly found road and mountain bike axle sizes. Saris provides a steel skewer in the box, but you will need a front rise block as there isn't one included. Applying the resistance unit against the tyre is a simple affair. This allows you to apply a decent pressure to get a good contact with the resistance unit. The M2 will also link up to your bike computer and allows you to operate things from your Garmin. Once plugged in, the M2 is ready to go. The ride is solid without feeling overly harsh or uncomfortable. Even out of the saddle, throwing down the power, the trainer does a good job of holding everything without issue. When it comes to climbing, the M2 can simulate up to a 15% gradient. In use, changes in resistance are relatively smooth and impressive for a trainer of this style and price. What is noticeably different here is the noise level. We recorded the levels on an iPhone app at 75 decibels at 20 miles an hour. Tire choice will affect this though. Power accuracy compared to our Garmin Vectors is good. Saris suggests it's within 5%, but we found it to be within about 3%. With the M2, Saris offers a good value interactive trainer. It's solidly built, does the job well, and folds away for easy storage. The price of the Tacx Flux S instantly catches the eye. At under £600, it is the cheapest direct drive smart trainer in this test. But how does it stack up? Out of the box, the Flux S ships in two parts, with a heavier main body along with the front support legs. Once the legs are fitted, they don't fold away for storage. This is fine if you have a dedicated pain cave, but otherwise it does take up a bit of space. The trainer will accommodate 8, 9, 10 and 11 speed cassettes and works with Shimano, SRAM and Campagnolo cassettes. It will also work with wider axles, including boost axles. As with most cheap smart trainers, there is no cassette in the box. However, unlike some, there's no need to purchase a cadence sensor, as the Flux offers this data out of the box. The Flux S pairs seamlessly with Tacx's own app and works instantly with Zwift. The first thing we noticed, which impressed us for a budget-priced direct drive smart trainer, is how stable the Flux S is. This is down to a combination of a large footprint and well-placed legs, as well as the 23.6 kilogram weight. The Flux S can simulate climbs of up to 10%. This might not sound like much compared to its bigger brother, the Neo 2, but for most this will be more than enough. The silence of the trainer also impressed us. We measured the Flux S at 60 decibels at 200 watts on an iPhone app, which is impressive and is unlikely to upset your long-suffering family in the next room. Tacx claims that its power figures are within 3% accuracy, and that seemed to be the case when compared to our Garmin Vectors. The general ride feel is good, and this is largely down to the 7.6 kilogram flywheel. This is heavier than all of its similarly priced competitors and gives a lifelike ride that compares well to trainers that cost double the price. The resistance feels good too, especially when hitting climbs in Zwift. It's smooth and adds to the overall feel and enjoyment when training indoors. When using just the Tacx app through your smartphone, you can manually control both power and gradient settings. In this mode, we did find a little lag, but we're guessing most will be training with the likes of Zwift anyway. With the Flux S, Tacx has delivered a very capable trainer that offers a great introduction into the world of smart trainers. Add great ride feel, overall ease of setup and use, and the £570 Flux S is undoubtedly impressive. Elite's new Suito is the brand's competitively priced direct drive interactive trainer. It's ready to use out of the box and comes complete with an 11-speed Shimano 105 cassette fitted as standard. This is really worth noting when comparing to similar priced units that don't include a cassette. We liked that there's plenty of metal in the casing, making it a notably robust feeling trainer. The Suito sits in the middle ground when it comes to weight, at 14.5 kilograms. Everything is easy from the off with the Suito. It really is a case of folding out the legs, attaching the power lead, and the unit is ready for a bike to be attached. When folded, the unit is impressively compact, easily small enough to stick in a cupboard or under a bed. We were also impressed that the adapters for 142mm through axles came in the box, as does a front wheel block for levelling things out. There's no need for any sensors because the Suito covers cadence, power and speed. It's all easy and hassle-free. We also had no issues connecting straight to Zwift. The wide legs and weight do a really good job of providing a stable ride once you start pedalling. Whether you're in the saddle or out, it's certainly up there among the best at the cheaper end of smart trainers. The Suito offers gradients of up to 15%. This is 1% less than the Wahoo Kickr Core, but we're sure for most in this market it will not be a deal breaker. As you'd expect from a direct drive trainer, the ride feel is really good. The 3.5 kilogram flywheel helps with this, but it is not as hefty as the Wahoo Kickr Core at 5.4 kilos. The Suito includes Elite's power meter link. This hooks your power meter with the trainer, which means it will give the same reading as your power meter. This keeps all of your data on the same level for consistent training indoors and out. Sound levels are impressive here, at 73 decibels at 20 miles an hour. With the Suito, Elite has produced one of the simplest and most user-friendly smart trainers on the market. It really is just plug and play. We like this, and we're sure it will have a large appeal to the less techie and those starting out in the world of interactive training. The Core is Wahoo's mid-price smart trainer that sits between their top-end Kickr and the budget-priced Kickr Snap. It has all the essential key functions you'd find on their top-end trainer, making it attractive if you're on a tighter budget or want to spend on Wahoo's add-ons. It works directly with quick-release axles, but it also comes with adapters for through axles. There is no cassette or wheel block though, so you will have to add those on. Before you start, you will also need a cadence sensor, as this unit does not transmit that information. To help keep the price down, the legs are fixed, and you do have to bolt them on out of the box. The 5.4 kilogram flywheel on the Core isn't as burly as that on the 7.3 kilogram Kickr. The heavier flywheel is designed to help with a better ride feel, but in reality, it was hard to actually notice a difference between the two. Ride setup is simple and only takes a few minutes through the dedicated Wahoo app. Once our bike was bolted on and in use, what is instantly noticeable and what really stands out is how quiet the Core is. This is thanks to the neat belt drive, which offers almost silent pedaling. In reality, the bike transmission actually makes more noise than the trainer. We were also impressed by how stable the setup is, even when you're working really hard out of the saddle. Once pedaling, it was good to see that the power outputs were similar to those found on our Garmin Vector power pedals. It offers a great deal, even when compared to its more expensive big brother, the Kickr. The Core is an impressive smart trainer, and for many, the price will be a big pull compared to its main competitors. The Smart Air Lite is a more affordable version of BKool's flagship direct drive trainer, the Smart Air. Costing £750, the Smart Air Lite saves you a whopping £450 over the Smart Air and makes it competitive with other mid-range trainers, including Elite Suito, Wahoo's Kickr Core, and the Saris H3. The trainer is designed to look like a bike with a wheel fitted. The design is taller than most and looks different with its large enclosed flywheel setup. Initial setup is easy, and all you have to do is pull out two outer stabilizer legs. While it may be taller than many smart trainers, with the legs folded, the narrow design makes it really easy to store. Plugging in the power is simple, and there's plenty of length in the cable, so you shouldn't need an extension lead. Jumping on the bike, the degree of movement in the trainer gives a very different ride feel. The curved main tube of the Air Lite that produces its kind of hanging design not only allows a certain amount of movement that adds to the ride feel, but reduces the load and amount of stress on the bike. Once pedaling, the Air Lite is relatively quiet, and the internals do a really good job of making things almost silent. Overall, the ride feel of the Smart Air divided opinions, with some liking the natural movement, while others preferred the more solid feel of something like the Wahoo Kickr. The unit is capable of replicating up to 2,000 watts and speeds of up to 70 kilometers an hour, so there's never a problem with running out of power or speed. With regards to power accuracy, BKool say that the Air Lite has a margin of error of less than 3%. Throughout riding, we did see that this was about bang on compared to our Garmin Vectors. Overall, the BKool is a solid performer. It's in a competitive market of mid-range smart trainers, and the ride feel here is the big difference to the others. This won't be for everyone, but it is what makes the unit unique. We like the ease of use, and the general ride feel is good. It's also relatively quiet and folds impressively small for storage. The Saris H3 is the brand's top-end interactive trainer. At a penny under £850, the H3 is extremely competitive price-wise. It really has undercut all of its nearest rivals by a considerable amount. Reducing noise levels was one of the biggest priorities. This has been tackled with a new belt setup. The H3 also features a new drive mechanism and a new cooling system compared to its predecessor. It's good to see all of the necessary adapters for all common axle types are in the box. However, there is no skewer or cassette in the box, so you will need to add these onto your budget. Minimal setup is required, and all you have to do is pull out the stability legs. With the legs folded in for storage, the unit is just 24 centimeters wide. If you're using a software package such as Zwift, everything just works, which makes life really easy, even for the least technically minded. Plus, with speed, cadence, and power measurements all being built into the unit, there's no need for any external sensors. From the first pedal stroke, it's obvious how stable the H3 is. This is largely down to the wide legs and weight of the unit. The ride that the 9kg flywheel offers is up there with the very best direct drive trainers, and it is especially good given the price. Saris has fixed the occasional power spikes you would experience with the H2 via a firmware update. The result is certainly impressive on this unit, and it works especially well in terrain changes in Zwift. Power accuracy was also very impressive and was very close to what we found on our Garmin Vectors. It was within 2% sometimes, but for the most part within 1%. The noise levels, or lack of them, is very welcome. It's far quieter than the H2, and at 20 miles an hour, we measured the levels at 61 decibels. With the H3, Saris has made a big improvement over the H2. It feels good to ride, is easy to set up and use, offers accurate data feedback, and best of all, they have reduced the noise levels. The R1 is up there in the top price bracket for smart trainers, competing directly with the likes of the Wahoo Kickr, BKool Smart Air Lite, and the Saris H3. Rather than just follow the crowd, Kinetic has done something a little different with the R1. It allows a degree of natural side-to-side movement. Some trainers, like the BKool Smart Air Lite, have a natural movement because of their design, but it is not as deliberate in the way that the R1 is. Hopping on the bike is a new sensation compared to the more rigid feel of other smart trainers. At first it feels like there's too much movement, but once you settle into a smooth pedaling style, you quickly forget it's there, and the ride actually becomes less wobbly, and the subtlety of it actually feels quite good. Putting the power down also feels good, though riding out of the saddle again feels a little bit weird at first. The controlled resistance does a good job of simulating any changes in terrain and will work with gradients of up to 20%. We also found the output from the R1 to be pretty accurate and within 2% of our Garmin vectors. The R1 is relatively quiet and it's never going to upset someone in the next room, but it is a little bit louder than many of its competitors. From our iPhone app reading, we got an average of 75 decibels. This is 15 decibels louder than Wahoo's Kickr and 10 decibels louder than the elite Drivo II. While this isn't huge, it is worth remembering, especially if you need to keep noise to a minimum. The R1 is a very capable direct drive smart trainer, even if it's not the quietest. As we mentioned, the addition of the sideways movement will probably divide people, but once you get used to it, and along with the heavy flywheel, the overall ride feel is very good. Now in its third generation, the Wahoo Kickr looks similar to the early models, but there are subtle changes over the older models. Initial setup couldn't be easier, with two fold-out stability legs with height-adjustable feet for uneven surfaces. There's also a fixed central main beam with adjustable height to accommodate a wide variety of wheel sizes, all the way from 24-inch road wheels right through to 29-inch mountain bike wheels. In terms of wheel compatibility, the Kickr works directly with quick-release axles, but also comes with adapters for through axles. It also comes with an 11-speed 11 to 28-tooth cassette in the box, so you're ready to go. Setup is easy and took less than 5 minutes the first time out. We were also pleased to see a generous-sized power lead, which makes for an easy life and no need for extension cables. Once our bike was slotted in, the whole setup felt extremely stable, and this is true even when working hard out of the saddle. For those counting their top-end power, and don't we all? The Kickr works up to 2,200 watts, so there will be no problems there. We were impressed that the power accuracy was consistently within 1%. We were also struck by how quiet the Kickr is. It is almost silent, which is not only a joy to ride, but considerate to others. Ride feel is good on the latest Kickr, and better than its previous incarnations, and this is largely due to the bigger flywheel. This now weighs 7.25 kilograms. The Kickr offers one of the best ride feels out there at the moment, especially under £1,000. While it doesn't come cheap, it's worth every penny, and really is the gold standard of smart trainers. The Drivo II is Elite's top-of-the-range interactive smart trainer, and it certainly comes with a price tag to match, so we were expecting big things from this trainer. Now in its second incarnation, this model builds on what was already a very capable trainer. Out of the box, there's a little assembly required to fit the legs, but it's nothing complicated. There's no getting away from the fact that it is a big unit. It is also a hefty unit, weighing 19 kilograms, with a flywheel that weighs 6 kilograms. This makes transporting it around difficult, but this does make for a very stable unit. It's compatible with 9, 10 and 11-speed Shimano cassettes and can be set up to run Campagnolo cassettes as well. Elite's original Drivo offered a maximum resistance of 2,200 watts, but this has been increased on the second version to a whopping 3,600 watts at 60 kilometers an hour. That is an insane amount of power, and in reality, you will never run out of resistance, nor would any of the monster-legged sprinters in the pro peloton. Plugging in and setting up the Drivo II couldn't be easier. The Drivo II is ready to go as soon as you switch it on. You can firstly use it in ERG mode, which lets you set a specific power and ride to it. This means you can keep a steady power output throughout your ride, and the trainer adjusts the resistance to keep everything even. A second simulation mode allows you to set an incline. You could set the average gradient of your favourite climb, for example, and then ride against the resistance profile that reflects this. The Elite can simulate inclines of up to an extremely challenging 24%. The ride feel itself is also impressive. Even when riding for a couple of hours, it doesn't feel dead or harsh on the body like some trainers can. The Drivo II has dropped 20 decibels over its predecessor, and we measured it at 65 decibels using an iPhone app. All of these updates and the tech found in the Drivo II make it a really fun and realistic trainer to ride. It is an impressive and capable smart trainer that is built on from its predecessor. It's quieter, offers a good ride feel, and the important functions work well. It is a large unit and it doesn't pack down as small as some of its competition, and it also has some stiff competition from Tacx's NEO 2. The second version of the Tacx NEO looks similar to its predecessor, but now comes with a blue undercarriage, a purple light, and lots of internal changes to aid ride performance. At a penny under £1,200, the NEO 2 is right up there in terms of cost and performance. After pulling the NEO 2 out of the box, it is super simple to set up by simply unfolding the two legs. Unlike some trainers at this price point, Tacx does not supply a cassette, so you'll have to add that to your budget. The unit itself weighs in at 21.5 kilograms, making it pretty heavy to lug around, but more importantly, helps to give a really stable platform. Unlike other smart trainers in this range, the NEO 2 uses a virtual flywheel. This means that there's no belt involved and the cassette directly drives the motor unit that is used to apply resistance. This also means that the unit can be used without plugging it into an electrical power source. Everything will work without a power source apart from descent simulation when freewheeling. The NEO 2 can simulate a wide range of surfaces, including regular roads, cobblestones, gravel, and dirt roads. Power output figures when compared with Garmin Vectors were always similar and within 2% at worst, so accuracy is spot on here. It's also extremely quiet when running, measuring 61 decibels on an iPhone app. This is really impressive, and to be honest, chain noise from the transmission is actually louder than the unit. What makes the NEO 2 stand out above its competition is the use of the virtual flywheel. This offers a ride feel like no other and makes training more fun and realistic than ever before. Plus, the ability to use this trainer without a power source, which is great for, say, race or time trial warm-ups, take this trainer to a new level. All of these things come together to make the NEO 2 an outstanding trainer and is a true winner in our books. So that is an overview of what we think are the most important smart trainers on the market today. If you want to go really in depth, head to BikeRadar.com for the full reviews and the full overview of all of these trainers. And we've got a link for that in the video description. Now, as always, if you want to see more content like this, please like and subscribe and hit the little bell icon so that every time we upload a video like this, you will get a notification.